This conference will now be recorded.
All right, folks, so good morning. So right now what you'll see on the screen here for the lab today and for what we're reviewing and going over is that you'll see in coursework, so this would be how you would view, in your view for a student, in coursework, you would scroll down and you would see that we have here as far as um, the support, lab number 9, support and movement, human skeletal and muscular systems. This is the lab that you will be doing today. I will be I'll review a little bit of what you need to do for this. If you click on this, it'll give you the instructions on what to do. You hear that there are the instructions. You'll be able to upload your file of information. You do not have to print anything from the lab at all, from the lab manual, but you'll follow what's being said in the lab manual, and I will go over that with you all. As far as in documents and resources, you can also go here and you'll see that I have, so for the quiz, for the lab quiz coming up, you can click on this right here, the lab quiz number 1 terms, and that's what you'll be required to know. And that would be also, we'll be using that as your word bank for taking the quiz, as well as that meaning the quiz that's the lab quiz. I'll be pointing out certain structures to you online during the lab class, and you will then you can use the word bank in order to pull the answers from. Okay. We also have here, you'll see lab exercise 9, support and movement, human skeletal and muscular systems. You'll click on this, and this is going to be a Word document of just the information that I just shared with you all in coursework there as far as what will be done. And so I'm going to go over this with you all. All right, so I'm going to go over that with you all in just a moment here as we look at the lab manual itself. But that's what's going to be due next week. Okay, so let's take a look here. And this is our ebook, Laboratory Manual for Human Biology. This is the lab manual and exercise 9. So you would just scroll over here. You'll see here's the table of the contents and such. You'll scroll to exercise 9, click on that. Takes us here. And what I'd ask you to do is you will read through the lab. Okay, so you'll read through the lab. You'll go through each section here and you'll see where it says compound microscope. Well, you don't have a compound microscope at your home, so you're not going to worry about doing that. But what you will do, what you will do is as it's asking you to look at certain structures, you will look them up online as far as Google Images. Okay, and you'll see here that the first part of your lab that you'll do for lab number 9 would be to label this image. Now, you can just list the terms from the skull all the way to the inferior aspect of this image here as far as, so if you want to print it out, you may, but you don't have to, folks. You can just give me the answers that you would be labeling each of these structures where there's a line. Okay, so you can do that there. So you'll put that on a Word document would be fine, labeling these structures. Then you'll see here over the next few pages, we're just showing you images of bones, of joints, right? In particular here of the spine and of the joints and different areas of the skeletal system. You'll see here that when we get to B, you'll read through this, please. And then again, we don't have a prepared section of a synovial joint for a microscope, so you'll look that up. You can look that up, that image. And then what you'll see here is that as we keep on moving, it doesn't, when we get to page number 108 is when you'll start answering questions and such. So you'll see here that right here, figure 9-9, I would like you to draw this. You'll draw this image. You will then take these 4 terms, the synovial membrane, which is this inner part of the joint. So this is a joint, 2 bones. When the joints come together, this synovial joint is a fluid, hollow, fluid-filled joint. While the synovial membrane, this right here, will actually produce the synovial fluid that fills this joint. The fibrous capsule, this is the outer covering of the joint, maintaining the integrity of the joint and keeping the joint together. You'll see the synovial cavity is just the space, right, within where that synovial fluid is present. And then the articular cartilage is the cartilage that is actually on the ends of bone, preventing bone from rubbing on bone, right? So you will take these terms and define them and say what exactly the function is in your own terms, your own words, okay? as well as draw this image. And then you'll see here, as far as it's asking you for questions and such, so identifying structures, it's asking you over here on this side, right? You'll go through and answer questions here. You'll fill in this table for me, please, table 9-1. You'll fill in table 9-2, following the directions. Answer questions. On this page also, you will answer questions. Read through and answer a couple of the questions here. And then I believe that, no, one more page. Answering questions here that are asked of you up until 112. So you have from pages like 108 to 112 where they'll be asking you some questions, and you'll be writing down the answers to them on putting them in a Word document, or you can print that out. It's up to you. I'm leaving it up to you as far as however you would like to do this lab report. You can either just very simplistically just create a Word document, answering questions, drawing the synovial joint, filling in the blanks for the tables, the two tables that are required of you. That's what I would ask you to do, okay? Or you can print out the papers from the lab manual and then fill in the blanks however you would like to do it. Whatever you choose to do is okay with me and acceptable. Just know that you will have to then, as far as coursework is concerned, so that's documents and resources. As coursework is concerned, you'll come here to where it says Lab 9. Click on that. You have the directions here, what I've given you, and you'll upload whatever files that you have in order to complete this lab. Okay, so pretty straightforward. Not a problem. If you have any questions, send me an email, but read through it's just answering the questions, right? And like I said, whether you create a Word document and do that, or you actually print out the papers and fill them in and fill in the blanks, I don't mind either way. As long as you get the work done, that's what counts, okay? Now, I want to show you and share with you all here regarding the lab quiz, okay? So here we have the terms for the lab quiz. So the lab quiz will be next Thursday, okay? So next Thursday, I'll begin the lab quiz at 10 o'clock. So we will meet at 10 a.m. next Thursday. And then what I'll have for you all is I will, you have this, you already have this, folks, so you can print this out, and this will be your word bank that you'll use in order to answer the questions that I point. So what I would do is, so instance here, I've posted these images, right? Now know that you're not going to have to identify all of these images. The only images that, the only structures that you'll have to identify will be on here, on this word bank here where it says anatomical parts. So that's why I'm going to take the time today. I've already gone over the skin, the skeletal system. Now I'm going to do the muscles, and I'm going to point out to you on this video, right as we're recording right now, all of the structures that you need to know for your practical exam. And then you have the word bank here to take from those answers, as I will at 10 o'clock next week. I'll point to, say a point right here, and I say, please identify this structure right here. Well, it's the frontalis muscle. So you will know already, because I've already posted these images in documents and resources, so that you'll already know, all right, hey, I've been studying this and studying that. I don't have to know all of these muscles, only the ones that Dr. Perrone is requiring me to know, as far as the frontalis muscle, the temporalis muscles, right? The orbicularis oculi, the orbicularis oris, it's the other circular muscles that cover the eye, the orbit, as well as the oral cavity, the mouth. And then the masseter, and the masseter we'll look at on, let's see which, okay. That's this muscle right here, number 2, the masseter, okay, right here. It's this muscle right here of your cheek, a very strong and powerful muscle, contributes to your ability to open and close your jaw and to chew, okay? So we have here the muscles that I would ask. In addition to, there's also the sternocleidomastoid, which is this muscle right here. Okay, so sternocleidomastoid. Right there, frontalis, temporalis, masseter. Okay, orbicularis oculi, orbicularis oris. Those are the muscles at this point in time that I would ask you to know for the practical exam, for that lab quiz. It's not a practical exam, it's a lab quiz for you all. Okay. Now, as we get to, let's here, okay, so this structure. So again, these images are in documents and resources. You'll see here as far as that we have the pectoralis major. I'm not showing you here the pectoralis minor. It would be, if we were to remove this muscle, you would see the pectoralis minor. I'll have to look for an image that I can post for that. The serratus anterior would be this muscularity right really on the, right here. This would be the latissimus dorsi right here on the posterior and a little bit on the anterior. And then you would have the O would be the serratus anterior. The external oblique muscles are right here. Okay. External oblique. And the rectus abdominal muscles are right here, the rectus abdominis, right here as far as M is concerned. And again, these are just, I'm reading you the listing from the muscles right here that are listed, okay? We also have, as far as deltoid is concerned, for the shoulder and the upper extremity, we have the biceps brachii, which would be right here and right here. Triceps brachii is right here and right here. The brachioradialis muscle, let's see if we can get a better picture of it. Yep. So right here would be the brachioradialis muscle. Okay. Brachioradialis muscle right here. This is how I would ask it to you on this image. This is the anterior portion of your upper extremity. Pronator teres would be right here. You're seeing a tendon covering it, but right here and right here, this is the pronator teres. And what happens is that my hand in this position, my upper extremity, the forearm and arm and hand, this is in the supinated position. In the prone position, the pronated position, supination, pronation. Well, in that pronation, going from supine, supinated to pronated, if you palpate right here at your elbow joint, right, the anterior portion of your elbow joint, there's other terms for it. I'm not going to give you more terms that you're not going to have to memorize, but if you'll palpate right there and you'll put your hand right there and touch as you're supinating and pronating, you can feel a musculature that's moving, and part of that would be that pronator teres right here that would allow you to do that. So again, and you're not seeing here, so here would be the deltoid muscle. You're not seeing the deltoid here, but you're seeing it here on the posterior aspect. Deltoid, this is this portion of your upper arm, okay? The biceps brachii, the triceps brachii, triceps brachii, biceps brachii. And then on this image right here, you're not seeing the deltoid muscle, but what you are seeing is the biceps brachii, the triceps brachii, and the brachioradialis muscle. So on the anterior, you're seeing the biceps brachii right here. On the posterior, you're seeing the triceps brachii. And again, the brachioradialis muscle. And the pronator teres is right here, covered by this tendon right here, okay? So you've got pronator teres right here. Now let's go to the lower extremity. And on the lower extremity, I would ask you to know number 3. Number 3 is the sartorius. Sartorius. Then we have the quadriceps. Now, you're seeing 3 muscles right here. So 5, 6, and 7. You're not seeing the 4th muscle, which would make up quad, right? Quadriceps. So 4 muscles in the quadricep, that group. But what you're seeing here is this vastus medialis and lateralis, this rectus femoris. Okay, don't worry about those particular terms. I want you to know that this is the quadriceps. If I were to remove this muscle right there and peel it back, you would have a deep muscle, which would be the vastus intermedius. So that would comprise those 4 muscles. You just need to know these muscles are your quadriceps. And the action of your quadriceps would be to extend your lower leg. So this is the anterior portion, front view. This is the posterior portion or the back view, posterior view. Okay? So you're looking at, again, sartorius, quadriceps. And then what you're also seeing here is that what's called the, if you were to put your hand on your lower leg, just below your knee, and have your foot dorsiflex, have your foot come up, you'll see that a muscle is flexing right there. That's called the tibialis anterior. That's this muscle right here, tibialis anterior. Now, what you're seeing on this portion of the leg, this is the posterior aspect of the leg, and what you're looking at here would be the hamstrings. Okay, the hamstrings are right here. Those have an opposite action. They're antagonistic to the quadriceps, and they would allow for then lower leg flexion. So if you were to extend your leg, to flex your leg, you would have these muscles contract, the hamstrings. And then you'll see here, as far as on the distal portion, the lower portion of your leg, you would have here the gastrocnemius and the soleus. So the gastrocnemius is here. That's your, when you feel your calf muscle, it's comprised of the gastrocnemius, which is cut, and then you're also seeing the soleus, which would be the deeper muscle. These two muscles make up your calf, the gastrocnemius and the soleus. And then this is that Achilles tendon, folks, right here, also known as the calcaneal tendon. Okay? Very important tendon, very thick and powerful tendon. If that gets damaged, if that gets injured, it can take quite a long time to heal. And that, my classmates here, would be all of the muscles that you need to know, other than I didn't show you Gluteus Minimus and Pectoralis Minor. So let's do that. Let's look up Pectoralis Minor. And what you'll see here is, for this image, that Pectoralis Minor, let's look at this one. So here's Pectoralis Major. So your chest muscle right here, the outer chest muscle is Pectoralis Major. Here, deep 2, if I were to remove Pectoralis Major, you would see Pectoralis Minor muscle right here, deep to it, okay? So this would be the Pectoralis Minor. Here you're seeing other examples of Pectoralis Minor. And then Gluteus Minimus. Gluteus Minimus is a muscle that is deep to, there we go, this is a good one, okay? So here you're seeing Gluteus maximus. So as you're sitting in your chair right now, that's the muscle that you're sitting on, would be that Gluteus maximus. If we were to move the Gluteus maximus and medius, you would see then Gluteus minimus right next to and adjacent to the hip bone itself. This would be your coxal bones, your hip bones right here, okay? So that's just a deeper muscle there, Gluteus minimus. Okay, here. All right, folks, so I've gone over all of these muscles that we've had listed here as far as in the for the lab quiz. So you have from now until next week to review all these structures, right? And you'll have the word bank there when I do the quiz. So it'll be at 10 o'clock next Thursday. We'll have the quiz. You'll have your word bank there, and you'll have, I'll actually provide for you also an answer sheet, and you'll submit that answer sheet to me. Join the class. Oh, hold on, let me stop sharing and let me see what the question was here. Oh, okay, yeah, sorry about that, Summer. Yeah, no worries. I've recorded the session, okay? I've recorded the session, so when I share the recording with you, you can review and go through it. Yeah, so I've talked about what we're gonna be doing as far as for Lab 9 within your lab manual, and gone over, showed you where in coursework, as well as it's present also in documents and resources, and then also reviewing for you all here as far as lab quiz number 1. These are the structures that you're going to be tested on in lab quiz next week on next Thursday at 10 a.m. Okay, so at 10 o'clock, you'll have a GoToMeeting that you'll be sent the invitation for next Thursday for 10 o'clock. We'll take a couple minutes to make sure everybody gets to the lab to be able to take the quiz, and then you'll have this as a word bank, and you will then have to identify structures that I point out to you. So what I will do is I will just show you images like we have here and point to a structure and say, identify. So question number 1, identify number 7 here. What is this structure? And you would look at the word bank and you would think about it and go, oh, that's the frontalis muscle. Okay, so that's how that would go. It's pretty straightforward and easy. I've posted these images for you. They're already in documents and resources so that you can review them and such. I will post 2 images for you regarding the Gluteus Minimus and also the Pectoralis Minor. Okay. Yeah, I'll make sure that I do that for you all. Let me now just stop sharing and excuse me, stop recording.